Shalom, and welcome back to B'nai Noach Academy, Thoughts on the Torah. Please remember to hit the like button, to subscribe, and of course, to share this wisdom and inspiration with friends and family. If you look at the book of Exodus, chapter 6, verse 9, Moses and Aaron come to the Jewish people and talk to them about the impending redemption. Of course, for the people, this was almost like a far-fetched dream. They were being brutally and so harshly enslaved. And here come these two people, these two rabbis, and give them this tiding of a redemption, of all this good news. The verse tells us, "Velo shamu el Moshe mikotze ruach u'me'avodah kasha." They didn't listen to Moshe, not because they didn't want to hear this. This was good news. This should have been music to their ears, but rather because they were so crushed in their spirit and so harshly overworked. This brings to mind, to me, an interesting anecdote I once heard. A story about a wise man who's traveling through the forest, and suddenly he comes upon two men who are obviously lumberjacks. Their job is to cut down the trees to make timber, and they're standing there with a two-man cross-cut saw, you know, the one that has a handle on either end, and they're working, and they're pulling it back and forth, and even though it's very chilly outside, they're dripping with sweat. They're working so hard. And he stands there and watches them for a while. And finally, he approaches them and he says, "Gentlemen, why don't you stop for a moment? I got some advice for you. I see how hard you're working, but it seems to me that the blade that you're cutting this tree with, or attempting to cut this tree with, is very dull. How about if you stopped, take the blade out, unscrew it from the handles, sharpen it, take 20 minutes or so to sharpen it, and then in no time you're going to have this tree cut. And not only this tree, but other trees." They looked at him and they said, "We don't have time for that. We're too busy cutting this tree." The sad reality is that many of us, perhaps even most of us, as much as we listen to the story and laugh at it, but most of us behave this way in so many different ways in life. When sometimes we're offered advice, we're offered inspiration, we are unfortunately too busy, too caught up in what we're doing, and perhaps what we're doing is not even the right thing to do, or it's not going in the right direction. We're so caught up, we're so busy that we don't allow ourselves to take that break, which will actually enhance things and make things better for us. So the idea is, of course, not always could you pay attention to all distractions. That's not going to let you get anywhere in life. It's not going to let you further any agenda whatsoever. Of course, one has to have the wisdom to be able to distinguish between distraction and that which can bring them a positive, impactive inspiration and guidance into what they're doing. But when you're offered that guidance, when you're offered that inspiration, the blessing is not to be, quote, too busy, too crushed in spirit, too overworked to be able to pay attention to it.